Okay, well, hello again, and you've seen the title of this video. You know what I'm gonna talk about. So, I have free confessions. Alright? You know, I'll just tell you these three things right here. So, first confession. Just to sort of get it out of the way, I haven't seen every Cyberman story. Um, I've seen most of them. I've seen like a good 80 to like 90% of the Cyberman stories. I've not seen 10th Planet. I've not seen Tomb of the Cybermen. I've not seen Wheel in Space, and I've not seen Revenge of the Cybermen. Which, besides like Wheel in Space, which doesn't get talked about a lot, I feel like those three are kind of big Cyberman stories for different reasons. Obviously, 10th Planet big because first Cyberman story, first regeneration, all that stuff, and Tomb of the Cybermen, people just absolutely adore that one. Say it's like the best one of all time, stuff like that, and then Revenge just gets ragged on beyond compare. So, yeah, but I've seen every single one after that. Besides that, I've seen like Moonbase, Invasion, Earthshock, Attack of the Cybermen, Silver, Nemesis, all the new Who ones, right? Which leads me to my second confession. I've never, with all those stories besides those four I haven't seen, I've liked to love every single one of them, right? I've not had a truly negative opinion on a Cyberman story, period. Like, it just, all of them, even like Silver Nemesis, Nightmare Silver, especially Closing Time. I actually really enjoy Closing Time. Death in Heaven, all of those, I've really enjoyed all of them. It's kind of been like, okay, fine, that episode was okay too. I absolutely adore this episode. World Enough in Time and Dr. Falls is like some of the best ones ever. By the way, if you're hearing any background noises like TV, drilling, all of that stuff, I have no control over that, and I really wanted to make this video, so apologies for that. But hopefully the music is probably blocking that out if I have music in the background. But so I've liked every single sort of Cyberman story. Of course, to varying degrees and to different sections of it that I may have a slight negative opinion on, like Closing Time. Yeah, the Cybermen sort of aspect isn't the strongest. They're kind of just a bit. It's not like they're turned into a joke necessarily. Like, they're unintentionally turned into like a joke. That's just me. But I really enjoyed the actual episode as a whole. Just maybe the Cybermen weren't well executed there. Next Doctor, there's a few things I don't like about Next Doctor, but but on a whole, I do like it. I do enjoy it. I appreciate what it's going for, stuff like that. I don't really have a super negative opinion of it. Even Silver Nemesis, I actually kind of enjoyed slightly, sort of. I mean, it's a bit stupid, doesn't make much sense, and it's kind of boring in some places. And it doesn't deserve to be the anniversary special. That obviously was Remembrance, but at the same time, it was pretty good. I enjoyed myself with that one. So, third confession now, which is kind of where this video is going. I personally don't think the Cybermen have ever been, in all those stories I've seen that I think are great, and even some of the ones that I haven't seen, and stuff, I don't think the Cybermen have truly ever been utilized well. I don't think they've ever sort of really used the Cybermen well. Obviously, you have moments of just goodness and stuff, but on the whole, throughout the entire show, the majority of the time, they really don't use them, they don't utilize them, they don't play to their strengths well enough. And it's kind of just one thing, it's one aspect to the Cybermen, is that the Cybermen, their whole point is, we're humans, we want to become better. That's kind of their goal, their mindset right there. So, the costumes, obviously, I feel like 10th Planet to Moonbase kind of did that well, where they're all about upgrading, they're all about getting better, but the thing is, of course, they can't get too good. They can't become perfect. They always want to become perfect. Like the Daleks, they are perfect. They consider themselves perfect. You know, they so like the Daleks not changing casing makes sense. Like the reason why they haven't changed since the Time War design. Obviously, there's the whole paradigm thing, whatever. But besides that, like they already considered themselves to be perfect, so that makes sense why they wouldn't change their costume, costume, their design. Whereas the Cybermen, they're changing design all the time makes sense because they're not perfect. They want to become better. So you can't like the Nightmare in Silver design as and like their abilities and stuff in that episode. While I do like how cool they are, it doesn't work for the Cybermen because they need that little extra bit of weakness to them. They need that sort of slight fragility to them that sort of makes them what they are. Because if they're already perfect, like if they're running at super speeds, they can fly, they can shoot lasers, bullets can't hurt them, all that kind of stuff that they were doing in that episode or in future episodes or even past episodes, it doesn't make sense because they can't be as good or as perfect as they were there. They need that little extra bit of like weakness to them is one thing with the Cybermen. And as I said, they need to change. They need to evolve constantly. That's kind of their point, which is something that Dr. Falls did. I think was cool. Was the sort of evolution. It's like first you had the 10th planet, then you had the Cybus, then you had the Nightmare in Silver design and stuff, where it was constantly growing, constantly becoming better and stuff, which I really enjoyed. Then of course is just kind of well, I'm just gonna skip all the way to the end. Right? I'm just gonna skip to the end of what I want to say. Is that the Cybermen are more psychological villains than they are like proper, like they're psychological horror. They're not supposed to be like just, like this thing is gonna kill you type of horror. You know what I'm saying? Physical horror? What's it? I can't tell. But which is the problem with most of the Cyberman stories is that they're essentially just Daleks with legs. They just, we're just gonna kill something. We're just gonna, like, mostly in Classic Who, but a little bit in New Who as well. It's just, we're just gonna kill people. Like, that's that. Like. A lot of the time, they're just. I don't know how to explain. They're just Daleks with legs, as I said. They're just there just to be a villain that just wants to, be antagonistic to the Doctor, kill some people, blah blah blah. They never really truly make you feel like this is sort of a group of people. This is just people becoming Cybermen, becoming better and stuff, which is why I do enjoy sort of Tomb of the Cybermen, kind of see that aspect of the Cybermen, where their whole point is to preserve humanity, preserve their life, become immortal, that kind of stuff. Things that humans want to do. We want to live longer, blah blah blah. We want to not die as easily and stuff. So Tomb of the Cybermen, I think they did that really well, and to an extent, sort of the New Who, most of the New Who, before Moffat, really, mostly in Rise of the Cybermen, where it's actually just making everybody Cybermen. They kind of do sort of. I'm not gonna say they missed the point, but like the whole forcing people to become Cybermen thing doesn't really work. It should be sort of like a consensual thing, like they should want to become a Cyberman and become stronger and stuff like that. That just makes more sense to me. That's how it should be done, instead of just, we're just gonna grab a few people, force them to get chopped up into little pieces and then put in this robot body. That kind of thing just doesn't work for me. But yeah, so a lot of the time they just kind of use them as just villains, just basic antagonists that you're just supposed to, oh no, this person's gonna kill me, run, we gotta kill them first, blah blah blah. That just, it doesn't work, which is why I think a lot of people aren't really into the Cybermen, because they're kind of just Daleks light. There's just any other villain that's just, there's some people that want to kill you. Whereas the actual concept of the Cybermen of, taking people and then those people turning into these like cyborgs, you know, and they want to become perfect. They strip away their humanity, strip away their emotions, to strip away anything they think is weak, so that they can become better, become stronger. That's where it really sort of the intrigue is. No, by the way, I forgot to mention. Besides those four, I haven't listened to Spare Parts. I listened to like the first part during that Big Finish anniversary stream on YouTube. But besides that, I haven't listened to the rest of Spare Parts. So obviously, that's also one where I feel like they kind of do it well. It's like 10th Planet, Tomb of the Cybermen, and Spare Parts. I think are in bold enough in time where the Cybermen really shine, because you actually see the creepiness, the horror of the Cybermen, but there's never really like. Well, mostly world enough in time, obviously. It's not necessarily the fear of death or the fear of violence so much as just the grossness of the situation, the grossness of what these people are doing to them, which is why the Cybermen really shine in that aspect, and not so much they're just big robot things that are gonna come and kill you, because they become generic. They just become a bit bland, you know. And maybe because of Star Trek and the Borg, that's why they never really did that in the classic series. I mean, then again, the classic series, you know, like the stuff was like 60s to like 80s, and you know, it was TV, blah blah for kids. They're not gonna give them the A game, all right? They're not necessarily gonna have just such intuitive, smart writing like that. Like they do with like nowadays, obviously. So maybe they could just be a bit generic as well. That's probably why just the writing was just a bit generic back in the day. But yeah, so personally, I feel like they need to, like in future stories like this new one that's coming out in Series 12, they really need to sort of stick to that mindset that the Cybermen are not scary in the my God, they're not scary in the Jason Voorhees way. They're scary more in the like, what's a good psychological horror? They're that's a question. Trying to think. I'm not gonna say the It way. Because I feel like they do a bit of killing. Can't say the Freddy Krueger way, because he also kills people like that. Well, kind of in that way. Not in the Jason Voorhees way, but in the Stephen King It sort of way. And also, another thing. This is mostly a new Who problem, but it's also a classic Who problem as well. The whole treating the Cybermen like just robots. You know, like that just... It's like humans that get rid of that, not necessarily get rid of their emotions, but they prevent their emotions from, you know, coming out. They don't use their emotions, which is, you know, a difference between Cybermen and Daleks. Cybermen are humans that don't have emotions in general. They mostly just use their brain. Whereas the Daleks, they have an emotion. It's one emotion, and that is hate. That's also a big difference between Cybermen and Daleks, which, for the most part, I think they do somewhat well, but they don't make that distinction well enough, personally. But they really treat the Cybermen like robots, just like, you know, just robots, just like artificial intelligent computer. They treat them like that when they're not that. They're people that don't feel things anymore. Which is very different to what they, especially in like the Moffat era again. They're humans that don't feel anything. They're not computers. They're not robots. So to treat them like that just doesn't make much sense. They should realistically, which I'm gonna be a bit mad when I say this, they should sort of more be like Danny from Death in Heaven, more so than the rest of the Cybermen. You know, because like Danny, he was definitely like, you know, I do hate that whole thing, but they should be more like Danny and less sort of like what they are in other stories, because like he was really dead inside. You know, obviously he couldn't feel too many things, especially like after the whole erasing his emotions thing. Like after that happened, that's where you really should sort of treat the Cybermen kind of like that. Um, but yeah, they should sort of be like that. They should still feel like people. They should be able to imagine. They should be able to sort of think outside the box. They should sort of understand how people work and stuff. They should understand emotions as well. That's another thing. They should understand emotions, like how closing time is just like he sort of, because of the baby crying, his love for the baby caused him to get rid of the Cyberman sort of stuff. The Cybermen should have sort of maybe they should have given the Cybermen some kind of way to prevent that, I guess. Like take away the noise of the baby. Like they should be able to hear the baby, and it's like, oh no, he's hearing the baby. That means he's gonna somehow try and override us or something like that. They should understand emotions. They don't have emotions, but they should understand it. Unlike a computer, you know, like a computer wouldn't understand emotions. A human who doesn't feel anything, they should still understand that people have emotions. Like people that are not them have emotions, feel things, and then they act differently depending on those feelings. You know, so yeah. Long video basically to say the Cybermen should not be just robots that kill you. They should be this like interesting like commentary on humanity and stuff like that, which they, for the most part, in most episodes are not. So yeah, hopefully future writers, future episodes, they should treat that a bit like that instead of just the genericness of them. Like if you stick to that, they would be like one of the top. They would be the top villain. They would be one of the top villains of the show. But when you like just treat them like these robots that kill people, or like just turn them into the robots, it's like you kind of just jump them down to like Zygons and Autons and all that stuff, where it's kind of like, you know, they're just kind of there. They're the cool looking villains that are villains and stuff like that. You know, they don't feel, they don't have that impact. They don't have that uniqueness to them. But yeah, long video, basically not really saying much, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.